What's up, the Gridiron crew? My name is Frederick the fifth from Ohio Dominican University. I play running back. I'm 5'10" and I weigh 203 pounds. In my final collegiate season, I set a few goals for myself as well as for the team. For the team, of course, we wanted to win that conference championship, and then we also wanted to make a run in the Division II playoffs. Sadly, both of those didn't happen. We had a good year, finished around 7-3. We just had a lot of close games that was going down to the wire, going into overtime. And we was pulling them out early in the season, but 9 times out of 10, if you keep putting yourself in that situation, you're gonna fail sooner or later. And then as far as my personal goals, I just wanted to get some good tape out, get some good film. In 2019, I had a season-ending injury, which led me to not have any good tape out my junior year. So going into this past season, that's one thing that I want to do is be able to display all of the abilities that I have, all the abilities of me being able to break tackles in space and be able to do things out there, me being able to run between the tackles, me being able to show my versatility and being able to catch balls in the passing game, as well as most importantly being able to protect the football as well as protecting the quarterback. I think I took advantage of the extra year to increase my eligibility because, like I mentioned in my last question, or in the last question, I needed that extra film that I didn't have. So going into 2019, that was going to be like my breakout year for me, junior year. And me having that season-ending injury, it was right after the threshold of getting my medical shirt. So essentially, because I was a game or a half a game over, I wasn't able to access that opportunity, and therefore my junior season was essentially a wasted year. So I ended up dislocating my elbow, going through rehab that whole end of the year, going to the next year. And I was preparing over summer, as in 2020 being my senior year, I was preparing that was going to be my last year. So when we came in, that season didn't happen. We had a light spring season, about 5 or 6 games in 2021 spring. And I was just able to get my feet wet. I like that because I was able to get more acclimated to playing a game since I hadn't played a game since 2019. And then going into the 2021 fall, that was just my breakout year. That was the time to really, showcase what I could really do. So I was really glad and thankful for the grace of God of first bringing me through that injury and secondly being able to give me another opportunity to show what I can do. I feel like my coaches and teammates would say, if they could comprise it in one sentence, I think they would say that I am a committed and passionate leader. I say committed because the definition of committed means to do something that you said you were going to do long after the circumstances have changed, meaning that mood that you set it in has changed, but you're still going to follow through with what you said you would do. And through that, I made a vow to my team that they would get everything that I had in the beginning of the year. And that didn't matter what role I played during the season. So during the season, I played running back, of course, as well as also starting on 4 other special teams. There was times where I was starting on running back and also starting on other special teams, going back and forth. But that's that type of commitment that I vowed to my team. I would wake up in the morning and do sprints on the treadmill and then go out to practice and then come back right after practice and get right back on the treadmill just because I was committed. I felt like, okay, if my team is requiring me to do these many roles, I need to be prepared. I need to have that endurance. I need to be able to have that conditioning. So I was committed to that role. I was committed to the many roles that I was given by my team. Excuse me. I say passionate because to me, I don't think there's not one man that's as passionate as me in this game of football. If you ask my teammates and my coaches, Fred brings that passion and that energy wherever he step. I'm talking about 5 a.m. weigh-ins, 5:15 lift, 6 a.m. film room. Fred gonna bring you that same energy every single day, whether it's in the beginning of the season or at the end of the season. The passion that I have for it is unmatched. Every practice, I'm yelling and screaming. I'm crazy because I was really crazy. I'm really crazy for this game. So if you ask him, they're gonna tell you, man, that man was crazy. He was yelling, screaming every single day, morning, night. It didn't matter. Practice, game, weight room. It did not matter. Fred was gonna bring that energy. That's one thing that I pride myself on is bringing that energy, bringing that passion. And that passion kind of derived from me knowing that this game could be taken at any moment. Knowing that I need to cherish the blessings that I have in front of me. Having that injury in 2019 taught me that, this could be taken away. So you need to enjoy every single moment that you have because you don't know when it's going to be your last. And the last thing I say is leadership. Simply because me coming into ODU ever since I was a freshman, I felt like I was always a leader. I was always like I said, being vocal, being loud, energetic, as well as bringing teammates along. So me, I'm a positive guy. I'm an optimistic guy. I'm a glass half full type of guy. So if you talking to me, I'm gonna put a smile on your face. I'm gonna do something to make you laugh. keep your spirits up. So cats having bad reps, bad days, I was always there to put my arm around them, let you know, like, okay, yeah, you had that day, but tomorrow is a new opportunity for you to go out and get better. If you have a bad day, the only way you could go is up. So we might as well look forward to it. So me being that leader and taking on that leadership role, I was granted captain my senior year, but if you ask me, I was a captain all the way since freshman year, even in high school. So me having that leadership role of being able to take guys under my arm and being able to uplift them in certain situations and being able to help guys play better around you. I feel like a great leader not only leads by example or leads vocally, but he can find a way to have people around them play better. So when I'm studying film, there's a lot of things I focus on to improve my game. For one thing, studying the other team. So this could be a week to week thing. Studying defensive line, linebackers, the secondary, finding out what type of tendencies they have in different defensive fronts, different formations. And then it can go even deeper into how the tendencies of a certain player and how he tackles or how he plays and how his coverage is. So I feel like diving deeper in those specific things are from week to week, depending on who you're playing the next week. As far as myself and things that I correct, for one, at Ohio Dominican University, we had a thing called our pre-snap routine. So basically, we would assess, okay, first, do we align right? Secondly, okay, after we aligned, do we know our assignment? Are we doing the right assignment? And then our third is our attitude right for the play? So alignment, assignment, and attitude. Making sure that your attitude is right, meaning that you're going into, like, if it's short yardage situation, you're going into it that I'm going to have to run somebody over. Or if it's a passing situation or you're in blocking, you're going to have to know, okay, sometimes if a defensive lineman comes off, I'm going to have to be in them trenches and I'm just going to have to stand my ground and be able to, do what I'm supposed to do. So those are some things that we study for pre-snap routines. And then also some things that I also look at for myself is, am I false stepping? Am I taking the right steps when I'm taking the ball? Am I reading my right keys? A lot of things that you can tell by a player's helmet is seen. You can tell by the turn of a player's helmet whether they're reading the defense correctly or if they're just staying straight. So there's a lot of things that you can dissect in film that can make yourself better. I feel like what separates me from other pro prospects at my position is simply that I bring everything to the table. Being able to run the ball effectively, being able to break tackles in open field, 2, 3, 4 guys at one time, and being able to break off that big run, having that momentum. When running back breaks off a big run, that brings a lot of momentum to the team, to the offense, to the defense, that can really fuel you to go on a run. I feel like me being able to have that versatility of going out into the passing game, being able to catch screens and different routes out the backfield, and then being able to line up in the slot receiver and being able to do things out there. And last but not least, being able to hold your ground in them trenches and pick up D linemen, defensive ends, and linebackers. I feel like as a running back, we're the most versatile position. We have to play in the trenches with the big guys, and then we're going to have to go outside with the skill guys, the fast and agile guys. So we have to have that combination of both and being able to do all. If you're not a complete back and you're lacking one of those things, you have to be able to pick that up. You have to be able to find, how do I fine tune my weakness into a strength. And then lastly, I would say specifically just the brain, being able to be a smart football player. Being able to be a smart football player allows the game to come a lot more fluent, a lot more fast, a lot more easy, I should say. It comes to you when you're able to make those pre-snap routines, read defenses, understand, okay, this ball might not hit at the A gap depending on the defensive front because he's in a different front than you're used to. This might hit a little wider in the B gap or the C gap. So understanding those things and having that mental capacity for the game makes the game a lot easier, and that's what I bring to the table as well. Last but not least, it's simply just that commitment of being able to play any role. Like I said, I started on 4 special teams during the season, so me being able to go out there and be on punt and rush and be able to punt and protect the punter, or me being able to rush the punter on punt return, or me being able to be on kickoff and go down and make a hit or kickoff return. So having that versatility of being able to play any position, I think is very valuable when it comes to being a football player. So my off-season plan has been just fine-tuning all the strengths and different things that I had during the season, as well as picking up some things that I may have lacked in, making sure that everything is right as far as my strength, my speed, my weight, my balance, all of those things, especially explosiveness. And then one thing I've also been training for is, just get my 40 time down. I showcase that speed on tape, especially in open field, but it's especially good when you can showcase that speed on a 40. So I feel like one strength and ability that I would bring to a team that will stand out on and off the field will be character. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm always that positive, energetic, optimistic guy that's always trying to uplift people. That's one thing that can be very influential on the field and off the field is being that guy that can uplift people and having that positive mind. I feel like having negative attitudes towards certain things or positive attitudes towards things, at the end of the day, it's all contagious. At the end of the day, it all rubs off on another person. It rubs off on the organization. So when you have a positive guy who's really influencing people on the team, it's able to rub off on the organization and produce great results. If you have a negative guy on the team and he's rubbing off on people, it can produce negative results in the organization. So that's one thing that I pride myself on is having that good character on and off the field and being that nice, likable guy. And then secondly, I want to say is just me being mature, business oriented, being able to handle business, knowing when and when not to be serious, understanding that this is serious and understanding that there's a job you have to get done. And that's on and off the field. So being able to handle yourself and conduct yourself with business with that certain level of maturity. During my time in college, of course, I played football, so on the field I conduct myself business like, but also off the field, being able to uphold a 3.5 GPA in the classroom. So understanding that off the field is just as important as on the field. Being able to conduct business off the field and being able to talk to people and being able to handle yourself is just as important on the field. So my final pitch to the NFL is simply that if you want a guy who's going to come in day one and give you every single ounce of energy he has, if you want a guy who's going to come in day one and ask a million questions in a room, I mean, picking everybody's brain, trying to get every little bit of knowledge he can. If you want a guy who's going to come to the facility as soon as it opens and it's not going to leave until it's closed, if you want a guy who's going to give you every single thing that he has to the organization, I mean, a straight out dog, then you're going to pick Fred Pitts the fifth. Thank you.